my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, we have a special episode. We have some special guests on today, don't we? So who have we got?
We have Jeff and Jon from the Predator Minute podcast, Dave, and I am really looking forward to this one. Not because of the fucking film they've made me watch, but just having these two great guys on. So welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I just want to start by saying I'm not really sure who chose this movie.
Oh, you're welcome, everybody.
a lot of finger pointing going on. I'm curious who. It's maybe it'll be a mystery. We don't know.
I can just imagine that fucking Spider-Man pointing at each other picture at this point. Like, what?
That's the one.
When you guys said that you were going to actually go through with it and do an episode on this movie, the amount of joy that I felt well up inside me was indescribable. To make
I think
other
for our
people watch
listeners
this
there,
film.
that's Jeff. I think admitting there that it was probably him who chose it initially. So
Jeff has done a Chris that I usually do on Dave when I stitch him up with a terrible move. Jeff has done it on all three of us.
This is amazing. And we'll get into the choice in a sec. But I mean, guys, tell me about the Predator Minute.
Oh, Jeff, you want to take it away?
Oh, sure. So Jon and I do a show called Predator Minute, which is a show where every episode we break down the movie Predator 1 minute at a time. And so it's a lot of me and Jon kind of bantering back and forth about pop culture, and then we'll get into Predator. And we are currently, we just finished recording 101, Jon?
Yeah, we recently, the most recent episode we released was 99, and then we have 100 and 101 in the can, ready for release over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, so we're almost done with this project. So if anyone is new, you've got 101 minutes of us talking about Predator that you can go back and check out.
Yes.
No, it was Star Wars, wasn't it? The Star Wars Minute that first started off this kind of idea. Right. And when I first came across this kind of concept, I was thinking, how the hell can you stretch out every single minute so that it gives you something interesting to say? But, you know, one of the cool things that you guys do is really break down that minute. Usually tackle it half and half, don't you? First 30 seconds, second 30 seconds, depending on that specific minute, and then talk around, you know, what's going on. So some of the behind the scenes stuff, as well as, you know, things about that minute. It's taught me a lot about prime numbers, quite honestly, that I'd forgotten about.
That's great.
Yeah, we just learned that 101 is what they call a sexy prime because it is 6 numbers away from another prime number. Who knew?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All we could figure out is maybe the number 6 is kind of close to the number 69, so maybe it's sexy. I don't know.
There.
Well, listeners, if you're looking for a chat-up line, you're down the nightclub, you know, when all the social distancing stuff has gone. If you're looking for a pickup line, there's your one. 101 is a sexy prime number.
It is. Well, you guys bring up the show, and I think important to note is you guys were on the show, minute 89. That is a specific minute where the Predator is lighting up the jungle with his laser after Dutch, a.k.a. Arnie, hits him with an explosive arrow in like kind of a makeshift trap on a log.
That's the one, yeah. We honestly, we had so much fun doing that episode.
Hilarious.
That was
just ruined the whole show for you, but we loved it.
I think that was either our longest show or our second longest show at an hour and a half after editing.
Oh wow!
To talk about a minute.
So we should apologise to Jon then for making your life hell for that week.
Funny enough though, guys, Dave's editing this one, so just talk all you want. want.
Oh, I have plenty of things to talk about. Not even related to the movie, but when we're there, we'll be there.
Oh, I tell you what, guys, you have picked a corker for us, and you've really embraced the idea of picking something that is not one of the top blockbusters, but well, it is maybe the other end of the scale. So we're going to go with Ninja 3. The Domination. So I have to ask you guys, so I'll come to you first, Jeff. What are your memories? Where did you first come across this little gem here that you picked for us?
Oh, Ninja 3. Well, this is actually a movie that I did not grow up with. I did not see this when I was younger, but I discovered it later in life when I got real interested in Canon films and these action movies of the 80s, and I watched the documentary Electric Boogaloo, which is the history of Canon films, and I was fascinated by the concept for this movie. And so I discovered it only probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I've watched it several times since because I am flabbergasted by the bending of genres and the amount of rip-offs that are happening here. I mean, it's a ninja movie. It's like a possession exorcist movie. It's a Flashdance ripoff. It's just got everything.
It absolutely has, and it actually, you've stolen my thunder a little bit there because there's a line. I don't know. Did you guys ever watch the English Office with Ricky Gervais?
I only ever watched the first couple episodes of the original Office.
Yeah, there's a particular scene where he says he's mixing up some Flashdance with MC Hammer shit before he delivers some fucking terrible dancing for this Christmas party. Was it Christmas party? Some sort of charity thing. And it reminds me of this movie. And to be honest, the way it's a complete mashup. Now, what about yourself, John?
Oh man, I feel like there's a lot more to this movie. I think you kind of have to almost Predator Minute style, kind of take a step back, and you have to know that there's a huge movement of just ninjas in popular culture in the 1980s after the kung fu craze of the late 70s. I think for some reason the mysterious black clad figure of the ninja just takes prominence, whether that's through the movies we're talking about today, whether that's the Ninja Turtles themselves, being kind of that channel for kids to play with toys that are ninjas and watch a cartoon that's ninjas and read comic books that are ninja. For some reason, I don't know, ninjas had a chokehold on the 80s. And the only memory I have specifically, though, from this movie is watching it on USA Up All Night, and specifically the hot tub scene where she takes out the guy and the two girls. But we'll talk about that plot point. But I remember specifically. Yeah, with a little thumbtack. I just remember being terrified of her character in that movie from that one scene.
The smallest cuts in this throughout this movie seem to kill off people quite easily, don't they?
Very easily.
Fucking paper cuts, aren't they?
Actually, I do remember, if I cast my time. So I only watched this for the first time. And spoilers, second time this week.
Well, but
I do remember at that time in the 80s that ninjas were massive and they could just do anything.
Yes.
And I remember kind of looking through the local directory to try and find someone, a little place that taught ninjutsu. I was about fucking 10 or something, trying to be a ninja. Funnily enough, I mean, I most of my time growing up was in this small little industrial town called St. Helens, and funnily enough, they didn't have a centre for ninjutsu there.
Well, you're in an industrial town, so that's step one, right? First, you have to work for a telephone line company, and also
that would have helped.
So, yeah.
Oh my God, aerobics. We'll get into that, I'm sure. What about yourself, Chris? Had you watched this gem?
No, Dave, but having watched it, I was hoping that I'd have laser surgery so I don't have to watch it ever again. To correct my eyesight, to fuck it up. Now, the only positive I can say about this fucking movie is because they didn't make a trilogy, and Lucinda Dickey, I'd read this like today, they just couldn't get it together. They did end up making American Ninja off the back of this, Dave, so I'm quite happy with that. That's Michael Dudikoff in his best movie for me. I loved him in American Ninja. I know we haven't done it yet, but yeah, I haven't got fuck all to say about it because I have never heard of it before, and I've purposely waited until I knew we were recording because I thought this is going to be Samurai Cop, fucking Miami Connection levels of shit. It's just, you've done me, both of you have done me. Absolutely unbelievable movie.
I was just going to say, I don't know if you guys know much about the history of how this movie got made, but this was obviously the third in a trilogy, and this one and the second one were made extremely fast, back to back, after the success of the first Canon Ninja movie, which in itself was a ripoff. They were like, "Oh, Bruce Lee has Enter the Dragon. We're going to make Enter the Ninja," and they threw this together. It was very violent, but it was a kind of a sneaker hit, and they made a lot of money off of it. And so they immediately made the second one, which is called
Revenge of the Ninja. I had this poster in my college dorm room.
Nice.
Wow. For the second one. Weird.
Yeah, they made Revenge of the Ninja, which went through like several rewrites, and they had to slap like a new ending on it to make it make sense. And then they made the third one, where they just mashed up every genre they could think of. So yeah. I think the story behind how this movie got made is just as fascinating as the end product.
It sort of takes that lead from the No Retreat, No Surrender, or not the lead, but the same theme in that No Retreat, No Surrender has 3 films, so in theory it's a trilogy, but none of the films connect at all. And I think it's the same with this trilogy, isn't it?
Yes, it's the same.
Yeah, there's no through narrative.
Guy. Yeah, there's nothing, you're right. There's no narrative. It's the same guy, isn't it? That Shoi Kosugi, or whatever he's called. He's like Yamada. Yeah, he's in all 3 of them, and he's very much the Lauren Avedon of this series. I know Lauren Avedon come on second, No Retreat, No Surrender, but and we did King of the Kickboxers, which they say is No Retreat, No Surrender 4 in some places. So, yeah, I just found that fascinating reading up. I was like, oh my God, they've even tried to rip off one of the greatest trilogies ever, No Retreat, No Surrender.
Trying to rip it off by creating a different set of movies.
even though this was before the first attempt, they had the foresight to rip it off before they even made it.
I think Doc Brown was at play here then.
They're genius of Canon films. They just rip themselves off. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Now, this one made, you mentioned the box office there. According to what I can find, this made $7.6 million at the box office, which I just find phenomenal. And I guess, it comes with that kind of ninja wave in the 80s, doesn't it? Because watching it for the first time in 2020, I can't quite see where that money's kind of made. But it's a special film. And I have to share with you, so spoilers, but I watched this and I must admit I found it pretty hard going. And then Chris messaged me with a few expletives because he was watching it. And with every single new expletive that was coming, I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more.
Yes.
And I said to Chris, this movie is somehow, it's got into my mind and it's burrowed its way in there and it's getting better. Like, as time's moving on, it's getting better and better. And I said, we spoke this morning, didn't we? And I said, I think I'm going to watch it again.
And I was like, you're fucking on drugs because I'm never watching this again. But
if I need just a little pick-me-up because I'm in a bad mood, I'll watch the first 15 minutes, the golf course scene, which we'll get into. But it is just incredible.
Yeah. And I have like a teaser questions for you guys for the end. Maybe like have in the back of your minds be thinking like, if people don't consider this a good movie, I'm curious what are some good ninja movies? Like I can think of a couple Scott Adkins ninja movies he made recently, which I really enjoyed. But I'm trying to think of like other like primarily ninja movies, and it's really hard for me to come up with that.
We're on a little bit of a Scott Adkins loving at the moment, aren't we, Chris?
Love him. Yeah, I love him. I've got to say, guys, I'm aware of him, but his movies, I've watched loads. I've watched Debt Collectors, which is the second one that's just come out. Watched Avengement.
Yes, Avengement.
I've gone for Undisputed too. I'm going to watch all of them. I'm watching. Me and Dave are constantly watching. His interviews on YouTube are fascinating.
Yes.
He's had like Gallon. He's such a good guy. I love him, and I think he's better than. I think he's probably the most complete on-screen martial artist I've ever seen. If I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's like a Van Damme disciple, right? Or at least like a good friend, because he was in a lot of Van Damme movies, like in the early 2000s or mid 2000s.
Yeah. Universal Soldier and everything.
Yeah.
I sent you one, didn't I, Chris? Just this morning, in fact, where he was doing this 720-degree kick. It's like, I kept looking at it, and I'm like, he's defying gravity. He seems to jump up there and just hang there while he spins around a few times. I'm like, how the fuck does he do that? So, yeah, we're loving a bit of Scott Adkins at the minute.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I just wish there was a movie that we could shoehorn in there. I think there's a couple of early 2000 ones I can get in at some point, but they're probably terrible. I know the acting's not great, but he's great with Michael J. White and Undisputed too. I do like that one. So, we'll see on that. But I will say, guys, we don't see any of Scott Adkins type karate in this fucking movie at all.
No.
So, shall we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
He is the most feared and powerful warrior. A ninja who breaks from ancient tradition and explodes onto America. His soul possesses the body of an innocent woman and transforms her into a lethal assassin.
Destroy a ninja.
Her only hope is Yamada, the master ninja, who has been sent to destroy him. Where Revenge of the Ninja left off, Ninja 3 begins. An epic struggle of superhuman strength and supernatural forces. Ninja 3, The Domination.
In the early 80s, cocaine was a thriving industry in Hollywood, and we can thank that roaring trade for scripts like this one. We're introduced to a ninja who, after finding his ninja stash of weapons in a cave, takes out a scientist, his security entourage, and a whole bunch of cops at a golf course. But after being on the receiving end of about 100 bullets, the dying ninja possesses Christy Ryder, a telephone line woman and part-time aerobics instructor.
Jane Fonda.
No, this time, I'll come to John first. So, John, what do you make to the opening of this classic movie?
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's like, okay, I don't know if you guys had camcorders in the 80s or 90s, like with your friends, you just goof off and make just silly ninja movies or whatever action movies. This is exactly what it comes off like. There's no story. There's just pure goofy action, just ADR out to wazoo, and just, I don't know, just pure chaotic violence for the sake of violence. It's very enjoyable. This opening act is what I'm trying to say.
It absolutely is. Now, Jeff, what do you reckon to the opening?
Oh, let's talk about it. So
I want to hear, Jeff. I want to hear you somehow work in the scientist angle, which we don't learn until a lot later. But go ahead, Jeff. Try to work that into your analysis.
I don't. Let's not get too deep into this, John, because you know what I'll do is, while I was watching this again, I just wrote down some notes, some comments as I was watching the golf course scene. And I'll just throw a couple at you guys. The first is we see a guy with a sweater tied around his neck, like like a pretentious douchebag, and that sweater is pulled extremely tight. It's like tied in a knot around his neck. So I was confused by that. I love the blow dart into the gun. That's amazing.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
I love how all of a sudden there's just cops everywhere. Like, why are they?
Yeah, but they're fucking ruining the golf course, aren't they? The whole fucking golf course is wrecked.
Why are there cops patrolling the golf course and they just so quickly and easily drive all their cars out onto the fairway? And they're everywhere. And then I legitimately think that the cop car flying off into the lake is a pretty badass stunt. I do like that one.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys? What are your takeaways with the great golf course scene?
Go on, Chris.
Well, yeah, the fucking up the gun pipe. The chances of that happening are unbelievable. But you've got to give credit, not credit. The poor woman who's with this guy, he's obviously bet on the side. Why the fuck would you want to spend 3 hours with this fucker playing golf and he can't even play? She sat there, isn't she, all dolled up? She's obviously not playing. He's there with his flunkies around him, these big henchmen, bodyguards, whatever they are, and the ninja's picking up golf carts with two people, and he's about 4'6", and he's fucking lifting things up everywhere. The accuracy on these things are ridiculous. The stars that he's throwing, and what makes it better is reading up on it is they use like proper shit material for like his sword and that. And when he's fighting with people, you can clearly hear that it's like aluminium or something in the sword. They're not proper sword noises, but yeah, it's sensational. And when they finally get the ninja, he must take, I'm not exaggerating, he must take about 200 fucking bullets before he goes. And even then he gets a puff of smoke and goes into the sand. It's fucking nonsense. But I'll tell you what.
A load of them are shotguns as well, like the black guy with the cigar. Shotguns, and he's just like, I'm a bit injured there. Run that one off.
What I was going to say is, through the movie, loads of cops have got these toy shotguns. A shotgun radius goes off in about 10 to 12 square foot. That's it. They're shooting people in trees 30 feet in the air. And I'm like, this is fucking nonsense. At least get a machine gun or something.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll tell you what, all I kept thinking about you, sorry guys, so I just cut across your edge. All I kept thinking about you two was, you pair of bastards, you've done me. Because this is one of the hardest films I've ever had to watch.
I know it does. This does. Before, sorry, Dave, I probably cut you off, but
No.
This has my favorite scene from the whole movie, which is the ninja climbs onto the helicopter, puts a throwing star in his foot,
so good,
and then chucks it inside. Hits a helicopter pilot. The helicopter. I'm looking at the scene right now. The helicopter pilot literally now has a throwing star sticking out the side of his skull. This is the pilot of the chopper, and the other officer in the copter says, "Hold on, I'll get him." Like, hold on to what? Like, he has a throwing star stuck in the side of his head. Like, this is the pilot. Like, your first priority is like reassuring him. Oh man, it's about the 9.5 minute mark. It's just, I've watched that scene so many times. Like, there's no way they cut around anything or edited that. Like, it's clearly, it's very clear what's happening.
That's up there, and
I love when he ends up in the water and they're all there in the water and then he's running off and his clothes are dry. And it's just, it's no continuity at all.
Continuity? Are you kidding me? I do love that scene. I wrote that one down as well, where he's got the ninja star in between his big toe and sort of gets good force. Do you not find yourself trying to figure out, it's like, how do you get the force? Throwing that? You must have really strong hamstrings. But guys, the elephant in the room for me we find out this guy is a scientist. I was assuming he was some kind of politician or some kind of mafia guy or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's only when Christie's being interviewed later in the police station we find out he's a scientist.
Right.
But what kind of scientists do you know, guys, who have 4 security guards? And when he hits the golf ball into the rough a bit there, he's like, "Oh, go and get that for me." You know, so they're like his lackeys as well. I just couldn't get it at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't know where the scientist angle ever comes in. I've watched this movie a couple times over the last couple weeks, and they say scientist, but I don't know what are we supposed to know what kind of science he's doing, or is it related to ninjutsu, or is the ninja like really mad about the science? I don't know.
I think it's one of those. They probably shot the scene without having any dialogue. And actually in that same scene where he says there's a scientist, when you get the old creepy bloke cop who ends up being the love interest.
Right.
He offers her a Coke, nice bit of product placement there. And she goes, "Thanks, but I don't use soft drinks."
I don't use soft drinks.
Yeah. And I thought, is it one of those where someone's just put this through a translation machine or something like that, and they just haven't quite got English? Like, he shouldn't have been a scientist, but someone sort of mistranscribed something in the writing process.
This is classic Golem and Globus at Canon Films. They had a very rocky relationship, let's say, with American culture, where they would try to write scripts and rewrite scripts, and a lot of times the cultural translations just wouldn't come through, and they'd have to fix a lot of things in post with ADR dialogue or just rewriting scenes. Just to go back a second, you guys talked about the continuity. I have to bring up in that golf course scene, there is one shot where the ninja kicks a cop off of his bike with kind of a roundhouse kick. And then in the very next scene, we see that cop back on his bike flying into the lake. So presumably he got back on his bike and then just went full bore on the throttle and shot himself into the lake.
That is an impressive spot, because the amount of cops that are absolutely massacred in this scene, I don't think I'd be able to recognize any of them apart from, like I say, the black guy chewing on a cigar. He's probably the most recognizable with his bike helmet on there.
Well, that's the most continuity this film has, right? Is like, if you watch that scene over again, those are the actual cops that she takes out in whatever spirit ninja form. So it's the one part this movie kept continuity wise.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I've never known a movie have different characters who do complete 180s. So we meet the fucking cop, Billy, don't we? She meets him. He's a fucking sleazebag with the hairiest back and shoulders we've ever seen.
That was another note. I was like, how the hell does one grow hair like that on your shoulder?
He's got like a fucking chimpanzee growing out of his shoulders. An elephant, what am I on about? That would be continuity. But she goes to the police station and he's talking to her, and he's fucking sleazing on her really badly, and you're like, oh, Christy, she seems like she's the hero of the film and all that. And then literally the Me Too movement was created because of movies like this, because he literally stalks her, he abuses her, he follows her to the fitness studio where he stands right behind her. She's not noticed he's there, knackered. He lays on the floor. He lets 5 guys try and rape her in broad daylight with about 20 people watching, a lot of blokes there, and she kicks the shit out of him. And then he says, "I'm going to arrest you," because she's been attempted to rape. And then he takes her back to her apartment and fucks her. And you're like, this is just nonsense. And she just gives everything up for a can of fucking tomato juice. I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, let's get into it. The V8 juice. I was stunned. I had to pause the movie, back up again, and watch. Did she just pour V8 juice all over her tits? That like thick tomatoey liquid? Is that sexy?
There's nothing sexier than pouring a bit
No.
of tomato juice all over yourself, is there?
No, there's not. And I will say, I have a bit of a story here. I remember years ago thinking, you know what? I'm going to get some chocolate here. I'm going to get some chocolate and we're going to, pour it on my wife's body. And thought, this is going to be really sexy. It was white chocolate, my favourite. Put it in the microwave. It was in a glass bowl.
Oh, no, Chris.
Took it upstairs. Poured it on her stomach, and we couldn't get it off because it was solid. It was just horrendous. So at least it was chocolate, not tomato. This was horrendous. It was horrendous. I just wanted to get some chips out or something. And it's the way she fell back. She fell like completely back, Exorcist style. And it's like, this guy has been an absolute sleaze. He's proper stalked you. He's horrible. But she falls in love with him. And then he becomes a good guy then from nowhere. And she then starts being the bitch. It's weird.
See, I've got a bit of a theory about this.
I think I agree with Dave here. I think I know where you're going with this.
Well, I'll let you go then, John. Because you're the guest. I'll let you go with the theory.
Well, I mean, she's been possessed by the ninja spirit by now.
Yeah.
For one, and two, like he is threatening her a lot more before she invites him in for V8 juice. So I think she's doing it as a bit of a distraction, as well as maybe like knowing he's one of the cops who killed her as a ninja.
Yeah, I'm with you because, I mean, when we first go to that, and I think the music is brilliant. That body shop is one of the best things. That is just a little earworm that I'm going to play over and over, and the lyrics are fantastic. It's like, do you look like shit when you look in the mirror and sort yourself out, and you're not getting enough sex because you're living in the kitchen, or it's absolutely brilliant lyrics. But we see him; he's got that fucking shit-eating grin on him. He's been stalking. He's just had all of his colleagues mercilessly slaughtered, and he's trying to hit on this woman. Now, this other woman is going to be attacked, and you've just got a whole crowd watching.
That was
so Chris
crazy.
The only one who actually steps up, and then they're all still watching. And then she when he fake arrests her. And they go off. She's still saying she doesn't like cops. And then she absolutely just switches. She switches from hating cops to absolutely, throwing herself at him and seducing him. So I think it's the ninja. I think the ninja is doing what he's got to do to keep things, on the level. I think he's second one for the team.
If you've got to explain that, then we're fucked. Because this is a Ghostbusters rip-off at the end of the day, isn't it? Sigourney Weaver.
It's before Ghostbusters.
Again,
Ghostbusters homage
this.
Yes, I wrote that in my notes.
It is Sigourney Weaver because the fitness stuff that don't get me wrong, she's proper. She looks really stunning in it, doesn't she? Lucinda Dickey, she was a dancer in that, so she's fit. But
I think the guys working out agreed with you.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah,
on carpet, no less.
Yeah, oh my god, that place! All I kept thinking was that place must fucking stink. All the carpet and all the curtains everywhere, and you got people sweating. And, oh god, I looked out.
There's a lot of there's a lot of yeast infections in there, Dave.
Sorry, Chris, I cut across you there.
No, but I just think you're watching it and you're like, I'm just transfixed by it. Like, what is the point of her in this movie being? I know she's the ninja and that, but the way she becomes the ninja, but then all of a sudden she can do karate and just beats the shit out. I mean, one of the guys is about 6'5" and he's huge. And I know size doesn't always mean anything, but when you've got all these guys there, and it's just the way a policeman. He stood there like they're just having a bit of an argument. They're trying to fucking rape her, and he just stands there and does absolutely nothing. And I'm like, surely somebody who was directing this piece of shit must have said, hang on, that doesn't sit right with us. A copper would just stand there and do nothing. I think it's amazing because it's like, what are we watching? It's right down my street of shit movies. But honestly, I was like, I had to watch this about 5 times and stop it because I just couldn't get through it in one sitting. I was just like, and that's every time, guys. Dave got some abuse off me. I was like, this is fucking shit. What is this?
I mean, what do you guys reckon to that whole blossoming relationship that they've got there?
I in my notes I wrote, whoa, she just did a complete 180 with this guy. He has done nothing up to this point to warrant any attention from her, other than, like you said, he's stalking her. I also like that he does say, "I'm going to arrest you," and then puts her in the car. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they cut to them driving in the car, and his very next line is, "Look, I'm not going to arrest you."
You sort of did. It's a great pickup line, though, isn't it? I always blame.
Now she's been kidnapped, basically.
Yeah, I always blame 80s movies for being crap with women, because you have stuff like this. You have Cannonball Run, where they basically they basically kidnap Beauty, and then she's okay with it.
Dave, fuck off. Lay away from the Cannonball Run and Burt Reynolds. You can pick any other film out.
But it's awesome. But I'm not quite sure when the possession actually happens. And actually, I say the possession. What is it with the title of this film, that the Domination? Is that another kind of translation thing? Because I'm not really understanding what it is. Is it exorcism, possession? There's all kinds of shuns that it could have been, but the Domination, I'm just utterly confused by that.
I don't see it. I don't know where that comes from.
It's nonsense. Again, it's like Golem and Globus just slapping a colon and a phrase to the end of the title just to make it number 3.
Right. This should have been Revenge of the Ninja, right? I mean, this is clearly all the ninja's doing in the second act of this movie.
Were you guys as fascinated by her apartment as I was?
Yes.
It was amazing.
It was like a cinder block warehouse. She's got metal frames everywhere.
Yeah, she has like a power rack as part of her bed frame.
Yeah, exactly. She's got an arcade game in there.
Oh my gosh.
She has like one of those industrial like ceiling fans, but it's sitting on top of her fridge. And then there are plants everywhere. I could not figure out what she was going for. Did she just find this place and just move herself in? Is she squatting in the basement of some warehouse?
Well, is it different in the US? That in the UK, our telephone lines women basically are the upper echelons of society, and live like queens, and in their castles and things. So no, it's ridiculous, isn't it? She's fucking line woman and part-time aerobics instructor, and she's got a pad like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that arcade machine was actually a real one. It wasn't commissioned a lot, but it's worth a lot of money. That if anyone can get hold of it, it's supposed to be worth a bomb. But I thought it was brilliant. And it's the way that the time moves so quickly that Billy is moved in. He loves her. He's there, and it's like in the progression of a day or so that they've become this dead steady, rock solid couple from him just wanting to fucking stalk her. I just find it. The timeline is amazing, and it is. And I will say, guys, I want to talk about, if you don't want to trampling over both your points, but my favourite bit of the whole movie is the black guy cop with the cigar and the 2 hookers who just walk straight out of a police station with 2 hookers arm in arm, like it's nothing.
That wasn't the black guy.
And
that was a different cop.
The black guy gets killed playing pool, right? So,
sorry, it was the guy with the fuzzy hair. Yes, it was the guy with the fuzzy hair. Sorry, yes, he was. He looked like an older version of Mahoney out of American Police Academy. But yeah, and nobody's batting an eyelid. He just walks straight out with 2 hookers who are obviously on a charge, arm in arm, goes straight into a jacuzzi in a brothel. And I'm like, what the hell? I thought that bit was amazing.
I had a lot of questions about this. So this is it. Presumably the cop is leaving work. Are these hookers that have been charged? And he's now been like, I'm just going to walk out here with you guys. And they are into him.
Yeah,
they are so into him. They are like, oh yeah, we're going to go into the hot tub with this disgusting guy that's 25 years older than us. And do they just walk down the street and find a public jacuzzi to go into? I had questions about that too. Where the hell are they in that scene?
I don't know if anyone's got any answers.
No.
outstanding. And then, obviously, what makes me laugh is he's got these two hookers who are just like, they're all over him. And very much reminiscent of Biff in Back to the Future 2. He's got the two hookers there. Obviously, they're not watching Clint Eastwood movies, but she comes in, Christy, and one of them goes, "Who's this bitch?" And it's like, hang on, you're there. You two fucking hookers. Why are you bothered that another girl's entered the fucking fray? And then obviously Christy just decimates him with that ridiculous paper clip that she's got in her mouth. But yeah, it's amazing.
They're like, oh, but he seems to be enjoying it. These guys were they properly studied acting, hadn't they? They were awful.
Well, her note, Lucinda Dickey's note, is that like during the shooting, the girls were just terrified of her because the stunts she had to pull was like, pretending to strangle them and then dunk them in the hot tub. And they absolutely did not want to be dunked, under the water in the hot tub. It's actually one of the things they say not to do. So she's being really not safe here.
I found that fascinating as well in that interview where basically that was her first acting job, wasn't it? And she basically got thrust in there. And, but she did actually, to be fair to her, if this is her first acting job and, she basically just took a few acting lessons, after the first few shoots. But she does look quite menacing. Mm-hmm. But I'm still a bit confused, a bit like yourself, where it's like, you got these hookers and at first they're like, oh yeah, we could use some extra towels. And then for some, maybe it's because they were a bit possessive. I'm still confused about how the cop walks out with two hookers out of the police station. Has he let them off on a charge? I mean, I'm not sure who I'm rooting for in this movie initially, because most of the time, Christie's possessed by this ninja who's basically a cop killer, but all the cops are massive douchebags. So I don't know who I'm rooting for at all.
Yeah, I don't know. It plays a little bit, tiny bit like a slasher here, like between the cop kills, but just, the rest of the movie is just kind of, it's kind of jumbled up. Like you're saying, who do you root for? Because it's an evil ninja, but it's killing douchebags. So I don't know.
Yeah, this is just the exploitive middle of the movie where we just get sort of scene after scene of her taking revenge on the cops, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just an excuse to do some stunts and see some blood, right? So we get the cop that's playing pool, and then we get that pretty great scene where she slices the pool ball in half with her katana.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing.
And then crushes the other pool ball in her hand.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like his special move, isn't it? Because he did that to the golf ball. That's like,
yes,
that's right.
I can squeeze these things. And he does seem to have superhuman strength, doesn't he? As Chris said, he stopped that golf cart initially, and then it's just lifting two people in a golf cart up with his bicep.
It's unbelievable. And I think as well, you've got Yamada and the ninja guy with the eye patch. He's in the background, and he doesn't tell a great story of who he is. He sort of, I kept thinking, is he the assassin to take Christie out? Is he the bad guy? No, he's the fucking hero. So we have, what it reminded me of, and again, this movie, when the more we talk about it, this movie actually had so much foresight and was probably a trailblazer that influenced so many films. You know what it reminded me of? I went to the cinema to watch, and I hate this movie, even though I know it gets rave reviews, No Country for Old Men, right? Mm-hmm. And I know loads of people love it, and I fucking hate it. One of my friends recommended it, and I'll never forgive him. I know it got rave reviews, but I think Tommy Lee Jones is a boring fucker. It does me head in. But what annoys me is Josh Brolin is the main character. I spend 60 minutes invested in this character, 70 minutes invested in him, and they kill him off screen. And then the film carries on then with Tommy Lee Jones and Javier Bardem from nowhere. And I was so fucking annoyed watching that movie. This is almost like that as well. It's like we invest ourselves in Christie's story and the fact that she's possessed and this ninja guy's following her, and they have a little fight in when she's got the outfit on in this house that's being built. And then it just turns from Christie's journey to the ninja guy fighting the possessed ninja at the end. And I'm like, this is nonsense. For me, I just thought it was fucking... don't get me wrong, guys. I love the fact that you suggested it, but I was like, how am I supposed to keep fucking tabs on what the story is and who am I supposed to root for? I just didn't get it. But yeah, the fighting scenes when Christie fights against Yamada in the house is fucking terrible. She cannot do a kick to save her life.
Yeah, well, they had to redo the ending. I guess what she said in the interview is that originally her character kills the evil ninja, but then they made it so that Sho Kasugi's ninja character takes out the evil ninja. But I agree, Chris. Yeah, like the third act is where I stopped like really paying attention much, because there's no more Christy. Like, that's our main character. It's like she literally becomes a bystander where she's just watching from afar, and like apparently these scenes that were filmed like way far away from the fighting scene, so they had no idea how to react. That's why their little reaction scenes seem so disconnected.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Frank in Samurai Cop, where something's happening, like where the nurse is like, do you want to fuck me? And you go to Frank, and he's just clearly just on his own in a room, just trying to react to stuff.
But he had good reactions. He had such good facial.
That was legendary, isn't it? I love those. I often roll out those gifs, but it reminded me of that, because you could see that Christy and Billy were both like just on their own, and you've got someone in the background saying, this is happening, and they're like, ooh, it's pretty terrible. But I think that whole thing, his whole journey, that whole Black Ninja stuff, I think that was all done after the initial shooting, because you're right, the third act is just a bit of a 180, where initially it's all about Christy, but then they just crowbar this extra guy there. It was only on the second watch where I actually got what he was all about. So he wanted the kind of green ninja, had taken out his whole clan and stuff, put a ninja star in his eye. I only really picked that up on the second viewing. And so, yeah, I reckon they've done all that as, to try and fatten out the movie a bit. I reckon it was too short beforehand.
I do love the way the third act kind of begins, when she keeps on saying to her sleazy boyfriend, something's taking me over, something's controlling me. And he, does not disagree with her at all. He just accepts that, like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then 2, he's like, you know what? I know a guy. Let's go down and see my Japanese exorcist downtown. And he just has that guy on his payroll, I guess. And they go down there and they start the exorcism.
Yeah. Wait, okay. Before we hit the exorcism, really quick. Who does she see before this, Jeff? She also sees like a psychologist or somebody who says something you're I don't know, like you don't apparently have anything wrong with you. You're in really good shape, but you also have this fascination with ninjutsu.
Yeah. So can I
Japanese
jump?
Culture?
Yeah. So it's brilliant. It's just such a line of exposition. It's like, well, you seem perfectly fine, and this is why I'm pretty sure, guys, I'm going to watch this again before the year's out. But you seem perfectly fine, apart from your extrasensory perception and your weird obsession with Japanese culture.
Yes. Oh.
And she goes to see the spiritual exorcist guy, and immediately they just grab her and start chaining her up. And no one seems bothered by this. She just goes with it. The cop guy is just sitting there with his hand underneath his chin, just kind of nodding, like, "Yep, this is totally normal. It's what we do."
See, I've got a theory. I think this is Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China.
There you go.
Which comes 3 years later, or 2 or 3 years later after this.
Exactly. So this is where it all started.
Yeah. Mr. Barton. Yes.
Green eyes. So,
so
the thing is, though, I mean, some of the effects, and this is where it goes full on Exorcist, isn't it? And this was the first This was the first scene that they shot. I went all Sean Connery there. And she's got the old contact lenses in, but honestly, when she's chained up, or I say when the dummy is chained up and then spinning around, I think that might have been the point when I'm like, actually, you know what? I kind of love this.
Well, you can just see the director standing off to the side being like, I got it. We'll throw some exorcist stuff in here. So we'll make her skin dark. We'll give her the eyes. She's going to breathe steam out of her mouth.
Trash talk.
We can't afford to do a head spinning effect like in The Exorcist. So we'll just spin her entire body instead.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, like Dave said, they used the dummy. They made like a close to lifelike dummy.
Amazing. I mean, honestly, guys, I we've reviewed some shit, and most of the time it's me trying to get Dave. BMX Bandits we did a few weeks ago. Have you seen BMX Bandits at all? Have you ever heard of it?
No, I've heard of BMX Bandits. I don't think I've actually ever seen it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's available on YouTube, so if you get a chance, get over there.
Don't. He's trying to trick you in. He's done this to me. It's coming out next week.
No, I want you
don't have to watch it.
I want you to watch it because you've made me watch this fucking shit. So I want to get you both back. It is. We've reviewed some shit, and I'm going to have to. We did Mole Rats a few weeks ago, and I went at Dave completely because I hated Jason Lee. I thought it was the worst film I'd ever seen. I just hated every minute of it. You can't have a lead character so horrible, and I just didn't get the hype behind. I thought it was a load of shit. However, you are honoured to be on the show when I say my famous words.
Oh no,
this is the fucking worst movie I've ever seen. This is now the worst thing ever. I have said it numerous times. I honestly think it's going to take a while for this to be beaten. And I said this the other week, and I'll probably say next week and just change my mind. But I've never watched a movie so an hour and a half this is on, and it was the most difficult movie I've ever seen. So I doff my cap to you two wonderful gentlemen, because you have done me wrong watching this shit.
I have never been more proud of myself.
Guys, you're sensing that little bit of joy that I get as well. Every time he says it, I'm like, oh, get in.
You've done me. Honestly, I loved it, and I was laughing, thinking, I can't wait to talk to these two bastards. Honestly, the more we talk about it, it's become almost like a trailblazer for other movies. The fact that they ripped stuff off from No Shit, No Surrender that wasn't even out is amazing. So I just think it's been brilliant.
This movie is objectively bad. However, I will say that I like the pace of this movie. As crazy as it is, as ridiculous as the storyline is, for me personally, never get bored. I feel like they move from one scene to the next, to the next, to the next. And as soon as you start to get a little bored, you've got ninjas stabbing people or slicing their arms off. And for me, I find joy in that.
Dave's going to find joy editing this, knowing what I've just said to you. I love that. But I'll tell you what, though, as a ninja, she's pretty shit at the funeral at the end, because she turns up in a fucking, her actual van, a work van, leaves the ninja star on the seat. It's not exactly what a ninja would do. A ninja would turn up 20 miles away and hike it there, wouldn't they, to fucking make sure nobody saw him. But no, she turns up in a work van and leaves it near the funeral procession just so people know who she is. I thought that was a bit of a stretch. But Billy put one and one together, and he was straight there at the funeral. And again, the cops have got the helmets on like they're in fucking chips at a funeral. It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm just going to throw out a speculative theory here, but I don't think the writers knew a lot about ninjas when they were putting this together.
Yeah. I think that's a true statement. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I'd have to watch it again, but I think the third act does lull a little bit. I think it feels a little bit choppy when we get the kind of new protagonist, Black Ninja. But, I mean, we say he's our hero, and I kind of guess he is, but then when he's trying to get to the where the body of the original ninja is, he just starts killing people indiscriminately. I'm like... it's not very ninja-ly. I mean, you could just sneak in there and then get the body.
Ninja-ly? Ninja-ly? Is that a new word? Ninja-ly.
That's a new verb.
I love that, Dave.
I thought he was just, knocking him out, hitting him with, like, trank darts, that kind of thing. Yeah. But maybe not. Maybe he's killing him off. I don't know.
We do get the best line in the entire movie, I think, in that third act when he says, "Only a ninja can kill a ninja or destroy a ninja."
That's it. Oh, you messed it, John.
I messed it up.
Jeff, sorry. It was old Lopan again, wasn't it? Only a ninja can destroy another ninja.
Yeah, and we get that little kind of cat and mouse in the temple in the final showdown. Randomly, there's like a ropes course in there. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but there's just like a rope ladders and stuff all over the place that they're climbing on. And my favorite thing is near the end of the fight when they're outside, kind of up on that bluff. Not only is he a ninja, but he's got like a Batman-esque arsenal of tools in his pockets.
Yes.
That you cannot see prior. At one point, he loses his katana and just pulls out a chain. Like, this is a large chain. Where was he keeping the chain? And then later, he pulls out a grappling hook.
Yeah.
Where was he keeping the grappling hook? This is a large metal grappling hook that he throws up into the tree. Did he have a backpack on? Like, where was this? I just love that he has all these tools at his disposal.
I think it was in his utility belt, right next to his ninja shark repellent.
Ninja ice skates. Ninja credit card.
Outstanding.
But you mentioned Batman there, and you're absolutely right. I hadn't picked up on that. That's a great spot there. I was actually thinking 1978 Superman the movie, when old Green Ninja there, he seems to be losing the fight, and then inexplicably just starts spinning around on the spot, and then tunnels into the ground. And I thought, that's Christopher Reeve, that is.
Yes, when you go see Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
very good.
Right. Yeah.
Very good.
So
Very good.
Superman had the foresight to rip off Ninja 3 5 years.
What a movie. This movie can be linked everywhere.
Who knew?
It's unbelievable. I've come into trash it and gone away thinking, actually, it's a revolutionary bit of cinema.
Yeah, it's a cornerstone of cinema culture. Yeah.
I think though as well is when he kills him, he stabs him with like a 6-inch knife. But then when we get the long shot, the knife's about fucking 2 foot long in his head. It's
just lucky, it was the ninja killing the other ninja, because that knife would have had no effect otherwise.
It had to be from a ninja.
Exactly.
But they don't explain, if a ninja has to kill a ninja, he died when everyone was shooting him though, didn't he really, as well?
But he didn't. That's why he could do the whole possession, isn't it?
It wasn't
deeply layered here, Chris. You got to pay attention.
Right. With the sword, right?
It's really deep.
Again,
it's really deep.
If you've got to explain it to me, we've lost. But yeah, that's fine.
You guys, this movie has layers. You have to unpack them. It takes a little while, a couple watches.
I love that you've come on here and absolutely decimated me, both of you, with this movie, because this is fucking awesome. After what I did on your podcast, when I came in and what did they say? We're having a bukkake fucking party or something like that.
It was when I remember it explicitly, Chris. I remember I was in the room upstairs, and these guys got a serious podcast here, and then I think it was the Predator, wasn't he? He was just shooting, his lasers, like big fireworks, and then you liken that to a massive bukkake party. Chris, don't mess up their podcast.
I forgot about that. That's actually one of the highlights of the entire project. So. Oh my god!
Sensational. Honestly, guys, this is one of the worst movies ever, but I can't. I'm going to listen to this podcast back when Dave edits it. It's going to be amazing.
I'm honored to bring this film to you guys, and thank you so much for letting us come on here and torture you a bit with Ninja 3: The Domination.
Oh no, honestly, amazing.
Honestly, guys, is no problem at all, because I'll be definitely watching this one again. But before I peek my cards a little bit too much, so I'll just say, let's get into our final review. Now, guys, our guests, I think it came to you, John, first last time. So, Jeff, you want to go ahead and give us your final review?
Yeah, now do you guys do like a stars system on this, or is this just my final thoughts?
No stars here.
So we've got a full breakdown. Chris, do you want to run through the breakdown and see if we don't get confused with the comics emotion?
What I usually do is I start with like what the VHS scoring system is. It's a 5-point system, but we have names by everything, guys. So I always end up crossing over the comics emotion. But if it's the best thing you've ever seen, you send it to Cloud City, and I will actually be deleting all of you if anybody sends this to Cloud City today. If it's not the best thing you've ever seen, but it's close, we send it to Pleasantville. If it's in the middle, it goes to Hill Valley. If it starts getting a little bit shit, we send it to fucking hell, David, I always forget. Elm Street. Elm Street. I can't remember my own podcast. Elm Street. And then if it's the worst thing you've ever seen, we send it to Dantooine and we fire it off and blow this fucker up. So take it away.
All right. I think I'm going to squarely place this one on Hill Valley. I enjoy the ridiculousness of this movie. I think that is what makes it charming. I like I said earlier, I enjoy the pace. I love how they decided to, okay, we're going to make a ninja movie, but let's also throw in some 80s flash dance because that's popular right now. And then we'll throw in a little exorcist possession to mix things up here in the end. None of it makes a fucking lick of sense, but you cannot deny that it is entertaining to watch, especially with a couple friends and some beers. So yeah, I'll put it right there on the Hill Valley.
Amazing.
What'd you say was the highest score? Is it Cloud City?
Come on, John.
Don't you dare.
Do it, John. Do it.
No. I think nostalgia-wise, nostalgia really clouds my view of things having to do with ninjas in the 80s or ninjas at any time, really. So it really helps scratch that ninja itch for me, but they're just, I don't know, it's far too uneven for me to just kind of like enjoy the whole thing all the way through. Sorry, Dave. Like it really drops off in that third act where, like Chris was saying, you stop watching the protagonist and you watch someone basically fight the ninja for you. It's just kind of falls apart there. I think I have to put it in Hill Valley. And guys, I have to say, being a Star Wars nerd, I never understood why you called it Dantooine.
Don't call us out, because I realised this on about episode 2, John. Because Dantooine didn't get blown up, I know. I was hoping no one would call us out on it.
Okay, well, you cut that.
It was Alderaan that got blown up. What is that what you were going to say?
I was going to say I'm calling it a Hill Valley for myself. I enjoy the first and most of the second act, but then the third act just falls apart. And if you end on kind of a wet fart, in a movie, just kind of it clouds the whole thing. Sorry for the metaphor there, but yeah, I'm going to put it squarely in the middle, Hill Valley.
This movie is a wet fart, but you're farting V8.
Oh, gosh.
A lovely tomatoey aroma there.
Amazing.
Chris, what about yourself?
Look, I don't give a fuck what planet got blown up. It's going to the bottom. It's going to Dantooine. And despite our indiscretion, Dave, of naming it incorrectly and going with what have we done now? Nearly 70 episodes. It's getting blown up personally. I'm sending a fucking SOS letter to Darth Vader and Kylo Ren to do the business, Dave, and create another Death Star just to blow this up. This is a fucking load of shit. And I will never watch this ever again. And I applaud Jon and Jeff, because not only are you two of the nicest people I've ever met,
wow,
you're both a pair of bastards as well for making me watch these. So thank you for coming on. Because you've done what Dave usually does, and you've actually beaten Dave with giving me a film even worse than some of the shit he's made me watch. So thank you, gentlemen. So David, what about yourself, my friend?
Now, I have to say, on the first viewing, I watched this and I had a fairly poor opinion of it. But after you were telling me how much you hated it, and also just thinking about how, the different scenes, and I think if I'm going to watch this again, I'd quite like to watch this in YouTube form, individual scenes. Some of the things are brilliant in there. The flash dance bit in the middle with the aerobics, and the Billy there with his shit-eating grin just in the background, I think is brilliant, as well as, that earworm of a music track. But for me, this is a wonderful piece of 80s ninja exorcist flash dance shit. This is just a massive mashup of loads of different genres, which is absolutely terrible. But it's that makes it quite endearing. Mm-hmm. And so I think we've got 2 Hill Valleys there. I'm going to make it 3.
There you go.
So Chris, I think you're outvoted.
Fuck all. I am not watching this again. I don't give a fuck, Dave. How many messages you send me telling me it's brilliant? I'm not watching it again. Miami Connection and Samurai Cop are some of the best pieces of shit I've ever watched, and I am not watching this again, Dave.
You know that the main ninja there is a guy called Sho Kuzogi. Mm-hmm. I was looking him up, and he was actually in The Godfather 2.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, yeah. He was, hold on, role passerby.
I thought you were going to say the horse's head.
No. I was looking it up. That's his first listed role, and it's like extra. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Now, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Where can everyone find you?
Well, you can find Predator Minute on Twitter at Predator Minute. You can find the Facebook listeners group, the Predator Minute Listeners Palapa, targets the center of the palapa.
Targets the center of the palapa.
Targets the center of the palapa. Whatever that means. We know they target every part of the palapa, but that's a famous Carl Weathers line, of course. Dylan from the movie. Dylan. But you can also
Mac.
You can also email the show predatorminute@gmail.com. Thanks, guys, for having us on. Appreciate the ninja talk.
Oh, amazing. Thank you, guys. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. You take it all with such fun, and because I probably listen to our characters, nothing can offend me. You can just give me plenty of shit, and I hope you haven't laughed at some of the stuff I've said, because it's all done with good fun, because it's been such a good laugh, this, guys, again.
Thank you so much, you guys. This was a blast.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
Awesome. Now, Chris, where can everyone get us?
If you want to get us, and please don't suggest any movies along the same lines as this, please, guys.
Please don't. Please don't.
No, please don't. But if you do want to get on Twitter and Instagram at VHSStrikesBack, if you want to email us, the VHSStrikesback@gmail.com. And if, like the Predator Minute guys, now, hang on a minute, we have got a Patreon, which these guys are part of, and one of our executive producers, so thank you so much, guys.
Producers today.
Exactly. But Dave, it's almost like a witch hunt to see who can give me the worst movies. Because if you get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back, you can suggest movies like Ninja 3 The Domination. And you can hear Chris go on a rant every single episode and absolutely shit on it. So if you do want to do that, get over there and have a look at what tiers we've got. You can follow us if you do want to support the show. Anyway, David, over to you to take the show up.
Well, guys, listeners, I can only encourage you. So episode 100, so minute 100 is going to be coming out soon of The Predator. So get over and give them a listen. And all I'll finish off with is say, Chris, only a ninja can destroy another ninja.
The boss. Python.
Total. $250,000. Each. We hit the day after tomorrow. The money? Us. This puts us one step ahead of the law. Gentlemen?
Not if we got our own BMX track. Well, you know, somewhere all the kids around here could ride with no hassle. Other areas get them, why can't we? Listen, if we put our heads together, we can come up with something. The way I see it, to make money you need money.
Yeah, well, if you want money, you can always go into scrap metal.
Constable, a double copy. Bayside Police.
Well, don't worry. They can't get at us in here.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's not.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off. One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on, ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Yeah, maybe you stupid. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I'll see you in 6 months.